elevation. We hunt and we hungry, we celebrating, turning nothing to something and celebrating. Markets changing, we calibrating. The first to get acclimated is the first to stack the payments, but you need to act with patience, but be careful waiting, cause this opportunity won't last forever before it is evaporated. So if you wanna flip some houses, hit me up to make a plan. Your flip deserves the upper hand.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Raise the Flipping Bar. I'm your host, Derek Marlin, and I know I always say it, but I am actually very excited today. Quick side note, I also realized that I should not record a podcast the day after a Broncos game. So those of you out there listening, I have my Barry White voice because I was screaming. Luckily, it was after a Broncos win over the Bengals. I get it, it's the Bengals, but hey, a win's a win. But seriously, back to what we're talking about today. And we have a phenomenal opportunity at Elevation. And I'm looking for one person. And I need a sales rock star. And if you're that person and you want to make at least $250,000 per year, then this episode is for you. All right, let's jump into today's episode. Thinking back, I wanted to kind of create a parallel to what I believe will be this type of an opportunity for somebody here moving forward. And when I was at graduate school at University of Florida in Gainesville, and I was getting my MBA in sports management, I actually did a research project and I was talking to all the NFL teams because I wanted to work in the NFL. I actually particularly wanted to work for the Broncos. I grew up in Denver in the 80s and I became a huge Broncos fan. And I thought, well, why not go for the thing that I think would be most fun in all sports is to work for the Broncos. And so I called all 30 teams and I did a marketing project. Now, granted, I only needed to present that project on one team, but I just used it as an in. And I just called everybody. And I got a hold of a ton of the marketing department directors. And one of the directors actually said, and of course I'd follow up with, hey, I'm in graduate school. I want to get in the NFL. Do you have any opportunities? And one person said, you know what, the Broncos, I don't think they're hiring in the marketing department right now. But they're at that point, this shows you how old I am, you guys, is that the stadium was only 1 year old. I went to graduate school in 2001 and they opened what is now Empower Field in 2001. And so they said, hey, they need some help selling their premium seating. So the expensive club seats, the luxury suites. And I was like, hell yeah, let's try it. So I was able to get an interview, even though it was only done halfway with school, and went out, flew out on a Thursday, got the interview on Friday, was lucky enough to be offered the job on Friday afternoon by my boss. Shout out to Rick Nichols, who I think is actually in real estate. So I got to send this to you, Rick, if you're ever listening. But just great boss, and was able to get hired. I called my wife, Ann, and I said, great news. We are moving out to Denver. And I flew back and I begged my professors and I said, hey, look, I've got my dream job. You guys can use me on any type of marketing you want, whatever, but will you guys work with me? So I was able to finish the second half of my degree long distance, flew back 4 days later, got in a car and drove to Denver and started. And I'm sure you guys are thinking like, well, what the hell does this have to do with this new position, this new person? I remember it like it was yesterday. And it's funny because I can't even tell you what I ate for lunch yesterday, but we were at this restaurant called Ballyhoo's in Gainesville. And I remember eating dinner with my wife and we were totally broke. We were graduate students. We were living in like a really, really shitty part of town. When we first moved in, we were sleeping under, a two-sided or two-sized towel, beach towel. Like we were broke. And we never ordered dessert when we went out because I was like, we don't have money for that. But I was like, no, let's do it. So we ordered like the most amazing bananas Foster, and I'm a dessert guy. As you can probably tell if you're watching this video, but I remember eating that with my wife and it's still like it still chokes me up because like we looked at each other and we're like, holy shit, I think our life is going to change. And this was just before the interview. I should have actually flip-flopped the sequence, but I remember being at that dinner and being like, I think things are going to completely change. And so for me, what I want to talk about is like, how can we change somebody's life right now for this opportunity and being part of Elevation? We've gone through a lot of crazy things going on in the market. And I'm really just trying to find a one-of-one person for this sales opportunity to fold into the other great pieces of elevation that we've got going on. So when we're talking about this role, I want to talk about, again, this one-of-one type of person that I'm trying to find. And I really tried to work on my notes and I was like, okay, if I'm sitting out there listening to this show and I'm like, well, why the hell would I want to come work with this guy and work with Elevation? I came up with 5, I think, just super, super compelling reasons of why this person is going to have the dream outcome of being here versus either at another wholesale company, another investment company, maybe another real estate brokerage, and you're badass at sales, but you want to get into the investment side. So let's talk about your dream outcome. So why is this opportunity great for a super hungry, motivated person? Well, I think the number one thing is it's more leads. We have now worked with a third-party cold calling company for the past 3 years. And most recently, the last year and a half, I took a little break during COVID because I kind of got spoiled. Every deal became a home run, but we've been working with this now same company. They've gone through some great evolutions and I've doubled my lead gen. So right now, this specific acquisitions executive or acquisitions agent will be receiving 100 off-market leads per month dedicated to this one person. I plan to double that in early 2026, as long as we can start closing some deals, so that this person will have 200 leads per month coming right into the CRM that's just for them. We already actually have 800 leads that we've collected and haven't closed on over the last 3 years. So there's this great kind of maturing database that, yes, somebody might not have wanted to sell their house 3 years ago, but life changes, circumstances change, equity has risen. So maybe that offer number is greater now than what it was 3 years ago. And so we've got 800 leads. And then the other crazy thing is if you're an agent and you're fitting in this role, there's 10,000 properties on the market right now. And a lot of them really at some point in the next handful of months need to sell. I definitely think there's some that are probably going to, come off the market because they just threw out an unrealistic price, but like the leads are there. So just these pure off market leads, those are there. And really this is now kind of a dial, as I say, I can just turn up the lead flow. So I think number one is just we have a shitload of leads. So I'm sorry I'm swearing, but like I'm super excited and it's just kind of hitting my inner Jersey. The next thing is there's also no competition in this role. And hey, God bless some of our friends at some of the other big wholesale companies, but you're like one of 10, one of 12, I don't know, whatever acquisitions people or dispo people. Right now, I'm only hiring one of one. I'm looking for that specific person who can come in and crush it in this role. And you don't have to share the leads. You don't have to, step on one another's toes or play nice or whatever. Like all I need is one person. The great thing is we'll talk about the structure and the support here in a second, but I just need one person. Then I thought about like, again, if I'm in this role and I'm probably 15 years younger than I am right now, what would I want? Well, obviously you need kind of a multi-level compensation package. And so this person will get a monthly draw so that they can have some consistent income. And as I kind of say, like pay the bills, and that will be a draw against your commissions. So you get that monthly draw. We're paying this person between 20 and 30% commission on the deals, depending upon how many deals you do in a month. So obviously, if you're doing less deals a month, you're earning 20%. If you're doing more deals per month, you're earning 30%. And obviously making higher commissions. And the other thing is you also get quarterly bonuses. So we run the company based on the Entrepreneurial Operating System, or EOS, and Traction has quarterly goals. And so we will set up those quarterly goals so that if you're hitting those, you're going to make more money. And here's the other cool thing is that we've got a separate division at Elevation. That's our investment broker division. And we don't have to refer this out to the general market. We've got specific coaching that we actually work with our marketing partner. And a lot of these people they're not agents anyways, or they don't have in-house brokerage. And so they have to refer it out. So with this one, if people are going on an appointment and it's a house that's not trashed and, we really can offer, kind of more of a retail type number, then we want to list that property. And then this person will get a referral fee and a kickback for when it goes over to the other team. So I want this person staying hyper-focused on acquisitions. But then when our broker team comes in and lists the properties, you get paid on that. And then if it's a deal that either Elevation buys or we buy for one of our consulting clients and we flip it, then they also get a referral fee as well. So it's like you've got 5 ways to earn money, even though it's only one area of focus. So I think that is obviously a huge benefit. Fourth main point of why this, I think, is a phenomenal opportunity for the right person is we've got multiple exit strategies. And again, by that, I mean that people are finding flips for Elevation. We are still flipping day to day as a company. There's a lot of people that are only wholesaling. They don't have the capital to flip. They don't have the experience and the knowledge. That is the core piece of our business. We've got a phenomenal project manager that we'll talk about here in a second to help with rehab budgeting, but we want to flip. We also are flipping for our consulting clients. So we have a stable and a growing stable of clients that are fronting the money. So essentially they're JV partners, they're money partners. We're running the flip in a consulting fashion. And then many times we're selling that on the back end. Then we get to our transparent wholesaling model. So that really is where we can take this thing to infinity. So we're continually building our buyers list. And the reason I call it transparent is because our clients know what we make. And I'm sure some people that's a little unsettling, but if it's a good deal, it shouldn't matter how much you make. And we've trained our clients to understand that if they're still going to make a great net profit and we can clear a $60,000 assignment fee, and if you don't like it, we're going to sell it to somebody else. But we've really, really helped kind of educate our clientele. But I think it makes people feel better that they know and they trust us more often. The other thing is we still do roof inspections and sewer scope inspections on every property. Pay for that out of the company dime because I want our clients to have the best chance to win and succeed and know what the hell's going on from a rehab budget perspective. So again, hence the transparent wholesaling. The other thing is we can list the property. And so again, if we're going in and the numbers need to be at a $500,000 offer price to make a flip work, but really it just needs to be, spruced up, cleaned up, maybe some paint, tell a homeowner to paint their house. We can list their property and we're making on average, a 2.5% listing fee. So again, this is all stuff we don't have to take out of the company and it's a referral revenue stream for somebody else. So another exit system. The other and the last thing is for one of our exit strategies is we can do our partnership flip. And what that is that we actually flip with the homeowner. This is really successful for a lot of our clients in the older adult space where, mom and dad have moved into assisted living, a rental property owner is burnt out and their last renter trashed the house, but somebody's moved out. They've got a house that's got good bones. They don't have the money. And more importantly, they don't have the manpower and the contractor power to get the rehab done. We'll run the rehab for them. In some instances, we'll even fund the rehab for them and we'll split the extra profit we generate 50-50. So again, there's 4 or 5 different ways that give you the exit strategy so that we don't have to either lose business or turn down business. Kind of going into the last couple points of why I'm really looking for the right rock star for this role and why it is a bit of a unique opportunity in the market is we've got a well-oiled machine. I mean, Elevation as a company has been around for 10 years. I started investing personally in 2009. So this person will work directly day to day with me. It's something that I'm really excited to kind of roll up my sleeves again, as they say, and get back in the trenches and really, really train this person up right. They will then complement and work with our dispo agent. We've got a badass person who helps work with our investors and sell the property so that you're not having to try to do 2 ends of the sales spectrum. We also have a transaction manager, Rick. They call him the wizard because he's done over 4,000 transactions in the last 25 years in all various capacities of real estate. So he's on our team. He's one of our agents and he runs a transaction management company. So you don't have to do the middle paperwork, if you will. And we also have my sales assistant, Lay, and she helps from, orchestrating DocuSign and helping follow up with people. The other thing is we have in-house project management. So yeah, we want to teach this person how to rehab budget properly so that we can just crank out offers. But Travis crushes it. He's getting close to being on board with us for 5 years now. And this will really help not only train, but make sure we can get quick offers out the door for rehab. And again, we've been around for 10 years. The other thing is that we actually have a physical location. And so I know some people are like, oh, I want to work remote and I always want to work from home. That's fine. The position has flexibility, but I'm recording in our podcast studio. We've got a phenomenal co-work space. This person will have their own dedicated office. They'll have flexible hours. To me, this is kind of a cool role in that if somebody wants to go, in the middle of the day and they want to get a great workout in or get a run in or something like that. And then obviously we know the best time for people to answer their phones for off market is like 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. or even on a Saturday afternoon. So I'm not here to say, hey, punch a clock. I'm here to produce results and I want this person to produce results. And so we've got a flexible work schedule. The other thing I'm super pumped about is we're actually using a new investor CRM system, and that CRM system does so much. We're getting away from a system that we used in the past, and it was okay, but it really wasn't investor centric. It was kind of more for the traditional agent, and we made it into, this CRM system to keep track of all the leads. But this is going to be so seamless so that the cold calling company drops in leads. You log in every morning. You see which leads need to be called, which follow-up tasks need to happen. From there, we can create, targeted direct mail campaigns. We can pull unique lists. There's so much stuff that we can do. And it's integrated with the coaching system and program that we're using with our third-party cold calling company too. So there's this huge community that we can also be a part of, not only for our Elevation team, but also with our cold calling company of investors across the country too. So if you think about kind of, again, how are you teed up for success in this role? It's working directly with me. It's having a team around you. It's having a community with our third-party cold calling company of other investors across the country. We've even got it to where we've got a specific coach to work with our employee in this specific role, so that you can even bring up, whether it's me with office hours or whether it's with, Tyler, our coach, like there's so much support. Then you layer on the compensation, then you layer on what I think is kind of a unique thing, which is, I think this is, the market is right for this as well. It is not going to be easy. I want to get that, be just emphatically clear about it. I'm not smart enough to say that we've turned a corner, but we're seeing data right now. This will come out in very late September, very, very beginning of October, because we're hiring this role immediately. But it's been a rough 3 years, and it's been a challenging 3 years. And I feel like we're at the bottom. And again, it's not about what I feel, it's about the data that we're seeing. So we're seeing interest rates that are finally slowly starting to fall. We're seeing that single family inventory, not only across the country, but in Metro Denver, is starting to decline. Meaning there were so many people that were listing their properties that weren't real sellers. They were just throwing out numbers from 2021, 2022, and just seeing if stuff will sell. Those people are either actually having to sell or they're just taking their house off the market. The other thing is that I've personally, as a company, sold. We're in the process of selling all of our current flips, and we've teed it up to where this is the absolute best time, where if we can buy our next batch of properties during the wintertime and in fourth quarter, we can fix them up, and then I can list them in the springtime. That is the absolute best time. So we're doing more internal business for Elevation. We're doing more consulting business for our clients for the exact same reason. And so this is just the time where it's not like we're doing this in, June, and you're kind of waiting for that next sales season to happen and then the next buying season to happen after that. But again, nothing is easy. But it sure as hell isn't June of 2022. So really kind of as we wrap up this quick cast and this quick episode, what I'm looking for is, as they say, some people are like, oh, we need to find that unicorn. And shout out to my business consultant, Doug. We had a great meeting last week as I was preparing for this episode. And unicorns don't exist. And so I don't need a unicorn. I'm looking for a polar bear. And this is definitely ripping off Doug's line of thought. But I was like, what do you mean a polar bear? And he goes, a polar bear is A, it's a real thing. B, you don't see it every day. And then you don't have polar bears just walking up and down, South Broadway. So we are looking for a very, very unique person. And I was like, well, Doug, what else do you mean? He's like, well, yeah, you need a person who's the polar bear. It's a super confident person, the person that's kind of a one of one, but not a unicorn. And they're just out there doing badass polar bear shit. So I feel like it's a little bit of like we're trying to find the honey badger, but I just want to find somebody that I can, lock arms with and bring into this machine that we've created to tee you up for success. So as we wrap up, more importantly, we are hiring today. We are hiring now. And I guess the question is if you're hearing this or someone that needs to hear this, send it to them immediately, because we need to find this person like yesterday. I am chomping at the bit. I'm personally calling all these leads myself right now. So I'm excited to get this person in and train them up and hit all those different 6 buckets that we just talked about. So the way that you can get a hold of us is you can send us a DM. You can also email us at info@elevationinvest.com. That's info@elevationinvest.com. And in the subject line, just put hire me and tell me why we should hire you. Obviously, we're going to look at your resume. Obviously, we're going to have interviews. We've got this great support system here as well that you'll be a part of an overall team. But this again, I hate to call it mini, but from a staffing perspective, this division of acquisitions, dispositions, funneling our wholesale business, our flip business into a complementary side of the brokerage is something that's really, really important to me. So definitely apply. We'd love to hear from you guys. We'll get back to our regularly scheduled content, as they say in the business, for later this week. But I really appreciate your guys' time. I hope you can hear and see the passion and intensity that I have, that I'm trying to find the right person and pour into that person. And I hope it's you. So thanks for listening today, you guys, and have a great day. Go out there and get some great deals done, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Elevation, elevation. Flip that house, man, this money for the making. We gon' get it, hustle harder, everyday fame. Sky's the limit, time to make this life amazing.